I'm sure everybody has a passion, so it's easy to have one, right? You know, like so so it's about like what actually drives us, motivate us to do something that we are currently doing now. So I am a Teach For Malaysia alumnus. So I was teaching math, science, and English in a low performing school. So I still remember when I first entered the class. So I asked it's a Form 4 class, and then I asked my students, okay, so what are your interests? What is actually important to you? And then they all told me, it's like money. Okay, no judging. Money as a passion, yeah, it is a passion. So, but is it an informed passion? I would doubt that. Like, how do you know that this one is your passion if you're never exposed to more options in your life? Having a passion is a privilege, given the limited exposure. Not only having a passion is a privilege, but actually pursuing a passion is a privilege. I'm an island boy. I come from Bangkok Island. This one is a very beautiful, you see, Satu Malaysia there. So it's like a very beautiful, very peaceful island. People there are very nice. So yet we have the limited resources, we have limited exposure. Just to give you a sense of how limited the exposure is, we only have our first KFC 2 years back. We have our very first 7-Eleven 2 years back. We never had those, all those like, I don't know how to call it, but it's like the 7-Eleven kind of things. So we also have limited resources. When I was Form 5, we only have one math tuition teacher, no other tuitions. We didn't have to go to a mainland to go to BN tuition. And then, so this is how actually limited the resources is. When I was Form 4, just like any of you, kind of think about, okay, now I'm about to graduate Form 5, so what should I do? So what is my passion? I asked myself 2 questions. The first one, what is the subject that I'm interested in? Science, math. Yeah, something that I can do, I do pretty well. And then the second question I asked myself, is science important to me, to the world, to the country? Yeah, so to me, I think it's like science is the fundamental of human civilization. Wow, very grand, very, very big. It's like science changed a country. Japan has a technology, it changed everything. If my island has a technology, the young people do not have to leave the island. They can stay in their country, they can stay on the island, they can have more money, so people will stay. So to me, I think science is of my interest, it's important, it's my passion. Here come the questions. Pursuing these passions as a child with a limited resources and limited exposure. So limited resources in terms of like, I'm not come from a very well-off family. My mom like barely afford to provide the daily meal for us when I was Form 4. So I also have limited exposure as well. I only know I like science, but what does it really take to become a scientist? So do I have the skills? I know that like the scientists nowadays they use like back then I know that they're actually using computers. But I was having my first computer, second computer without internet when I was Form 4. So thinking of all those constraints, pursuing a passion as a scientist, is something that is far beyond, it's beyond. So I talked to myself, it's like, Jiunn Wen, it's okay, you are an island boy, you just study hard for now, you got a good result in SPM, you make yourself qualified first without thinking about if this really the passion you can pursue or not. You make yourself qualified first. And then I study hard, I got a decent result in SPM. So luckily, I got a JPA scholarship. I flew to US, and after 4 years, I graduated from MIT with the degree in physics. So wow, life is wonderful, right now. Speaking about, I was very grateful. Without a scholarship without a scholarship, I might not be able to make it to pursue my passion. That's why I felt very strongly. Pursue a passion is a privilege. Then, this is how I think about passions. Passion is actually interest and importance, the 2 questions that I ask myself. And then, to do that, to pursue a passion, to have a passion, you need to have resources, you need to have skills, you need to have exposure. This is something I believe very strongly. I do think that all the organizations and nowadays the society, when a person wants to pursue a passion, so we give them all these three things, right? So that they make it possible. So after I finished my study, I came back to Malaysia. I joined Teach For Malaysia, and then I'm using this model, something that I believe very strongly, and I want to teach my students how to develop a passion, something I strongly believe in. So I was posted to a low performing school in Johor, and then every time I teach them science or teach them English, I will say, oh, science, how English is very important, how science is very important. So in the hope that you will spark that interest. And then as a Teach For Malaysia fellow as well, we need to create a social initiative, or we had to run a social initiative. So unsurprisingly, as a person passionate in science, I founded a STEM initiative with 3 other Teach For Malaysia fellows. So yeah, so this is our logo. As you see, it's quite nice here. Yes. So with the same model, the same thinking, I want to provide my students with resources. I want to provide students who are really interested in science with resources, skills, and exposure. So we pitched the idea to Astro, and then we got a full funding to actually run our initiative. Wow, so we started to acquire for resources. We acquired all the Arduino kits. Arduino is actually the electronic kits they use, and then free for the students. And then we actually brought in UTM mentors, Jumbaka mentors to train our students how to do programming, how to play with the circuitry and the electronics. And then I also brought my students we organized a competition. So we brought our students to the state level and the national level competition, and my student actually won the champion for state level for twice. So for twice in two years. So yeah, we also brought them to the university visit, to give them exposure in the hope that it will spark their interest. So what happened in reality? I was very confident, like this model works. This particular student, do you think that actually this initiative actually added some value to the students? But there's one particular student that actually struck me and changed the way I think about passion. So this is what we did. We provide him with the skills, provide him with the exposure, we provide him with the resources. So he's actually one of the students who actually won the champion for the state. And then when I left the fellowship, he was about to do his SPM. So 2 months ago, when I met him again, it's about 6 months from then, I meet him. And then he told me, sir, I'm currently a waiter at a fast food restaurant, McDonald's. It actually struck me. I thought this model works. I want to help my students develop passions. But no offense, that fast food restaurant waiter is a good job. But I know that this student actually very interested in science. This student sees science as a very important thing. So what really happened? I talked to him, and then he told me that, sir, I do not get a good SPM result. So there's not much resources for me to continue my study. I had to earn money for my living. Science is not something of my priority now. Then I say, oh, there are a lot of opportunity PTPM that you can borrow. Then he say, no, sir. Money is my priority for now. It actually struck me. The model that I built for myself to help these students to develop a passion failed. So I feel very sad. And when we talk, we also feel about, wow, the world is unfair. Those scholarships only for those like really good in result. That's a reality. I will also imagine if I do not get a scholarship, would I end up with the same way that I am today? So after that, I talked to my elder brother, who was in a similar experience as this student. He studied engineering, and he also did not get much resources compared to me. So after the conversations, I realized that there's something missing in my model, how I see passions. Instead of interest, it should be relevance. We have many interests in our life, but which one is the one that is actually relevant to us? Which is the one that appeals to us the most? Which one is the one that we can do? Instead of importance, it's actually values. The students do know that English is important. The students do know that science is important. But which one do they value? And importance is less important if you do not put a value on. on it. So this is what came out with. So my new discovery is passion is actually relevance, task, values. And to actually pursue this passion, you need reflections, empathy, and grit. This is something that I realized. This is something very internal. How do we know that this particular interest or this particular important is something that we can appeal towards the most? We reflect. We reflect, is it something that I connected to? And then how do you know that you have limited inputs? That's why you empathize. It's not about exposure. It's about when you're getting those experience, how emotionally you attach to that experience. So you know that which interest and which important appeal to you the most. But is it enough? No, you still need a grit. When you do not have the resources, when you do not have the skills, when you do not have the exposure, what do? Grit. You still need those things, but it's something internal. It's more proactive. You don't wait for people to give you the resources, to give you the skills, to give you the exposure. You actually fight for it. Grit. So this is how I came out with. This is something that I discovered. There's also something that me and my brother, when we reflected our own journey, is like going to MIT is something also quite hard. It's not like a smooth, like you go to MIT after 4 years, come out, okay, bright student, no. Along the way, grit actually helps a lot, and empathize as well. So this is something that it changed how I think about passions. So this is something I would like the audience to focus beyond today. When we say that a passion is a privilege, it's not about resources, it's not about exposure, it's about you have the ability to reflect, you can empathize, you have the grit. Is it easy to build? No. So only then, if you have those internal things, you can get the other things, skill, exposure, and resources. Is it something new? I'm sure that you guys are familiar with all the words, but this is something that I internalize. Something that you know doesn't mean that you can internalize it. This is the first time I internalized so much that I think that this is something become my guiding principle. So there are two key takeaways I would like the audience to have. First one is, privilege passion is for everyone. Even though I use a lot of examples, my case, my brother case, my student case, but this passion, this moral passion, I think is for everyone. I would like every of you, if you are helping underprivileged kids or helping yourself, do remember, not only give them the exposure, resources, or skills, but it's how to build them, build the internet factor in them. And then the last thing is, when you change your focus, you change your life. That's all. Thank you.